and welcome back to K&F Design. If you're new here, my name is Katie. If you could head down below, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel so we can keep crafting together. Today I have these fun stained glass themed, Halloween themed cards for you. This time I did some circular ones. If you would like to see how to make the square ones, I'll link that down below and maybe do up above as well. So make sure you check that out. These designs, this one here, the cat, came from Creative Fabrica, so you can find that down below. And this one, which is the skull with the roses, I actually created with Creative Fabrica's AI called Spook. So that will be in my library, and you can find that down below. I did two different versions so you can see what those look like, and this one was originally a square. I'll show you how to turn it into a circle. If Halloween is not your theme, don't worry, you can use the same techniques for any type of photo that you want to turn into the stained glass effect. So let's dive into Cricut Design Space and see how to make them. So when you have your canvas open, the first step we need to do is to upload our image. Then click Upload Image. You can click here and browse your file, or I have it right here. So I'm just going to take my photo and drag it over. You always want to do a complex just to make sure it shows all of these beautiful details, and we will hit Continue. This photo I got from Creative Fabrica. I did their Spook is what it's called, and it's their AI generated program. And it just has this white background on it, so I'm just going to have to click anywhere on the background, and that deletes the background. So we don't, it's not a big deal if you're just printing it with like a printer like we are, because white won't print anything because it's already white. If you start doing some sublimation and things, that could also get complicated, so I like to just delete the background. But like I said, I got this image from Creative Fabrica. Their AI generated program created this stained glass for me, and I will send it to my library so you can download it for free if you would like. This is when you if you don't have the Cricut access, it will do the background, but like I said, I don't have Cricut access here, and just one click took away the background really nice. It even has an eraser tool so you can erase sections of it, but we don't want to do that. There it is, restore. Oh, boo. Okay, we'll hit the undo button. And then you can also, what I did here, select certain sections to delete if you would like to do that too. You can also preview your image so we can see it's a nice circle. There's no little bits and pieces floating on the outside, so we know we are good there. And it's kind of the features that you need here. So we will just apply and continue. If you would like to call your image something besides whatever the image was called, you can do that here. You can put in your categories. I'm just going to hit my print then cut. If we just cut the image like out of vinyl or something, it's just a circle. So we want to do a print then cut and upload. Then we'll go over here and select it, add to canvas. So here is our design in canvas. Right now it's coming in at a 4.22 inch, and with our lock button locked, I think I'm going to make a 5x5 card. So there we go. If you unlock it, then it'll change the proportion, which we don't want. I want it to be nice and even, 5x5. So make sure that this stays locked. You could just change it 5 and 5 there if you want as well. Now, we want to make a card out of this. If you don't want to make a card, you don't have to do this step. You could sublimate this and put it on a design even with these layers. That would be kind of pretty. You could just sublimate this here like this. But I'm going to show you how to do a card. And since ours is round, I'm going to make a round card. So like I said, I want to make my card a 5 by 5. 5. Here we go. And then this would be the front of my card, but we need a back. So I'm just going to right click and duplicate. So I have 2 circles. You can also hit the duplicate button up here. And I'm going to, let's see, I think just kind of what you think, however much overlap looks good to you. I think that looks good. Now I'm holding down the shift and selecting both. You can see over here they're both selected. You can also click on them here too. And now I want to make sure, you can see this one's up a little bit higher than that. I want these nice straight horizontally. So we will go to align and vertical, center vertical. So now you can see that they're aligned with each other. I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to actually weld these together. And this is the front and the back of our card. If you have a scoring tool of some type, like the stylus or the tool, then we can go to shapes and hit line. I don't know the exact measurement of my line, but that's okay. It's just a scoring tool. It's okay if it goes a little bit over. So I'm just going to go to what looks good. Select the score line and a card. And we want to go to align and center it, because we don't want it off to the side or anything. So that looks pretty good. So I will attach those. If you don't hit attach, that score line will show up on another mat off on its own, and we don't want that. We want it to crease right down the middle of our card so we can see it. Now, if we bring this over here, it does fit nicely in place, but this, you can see, let's go to the front here, it sticks out past it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it stick out, and you'll see when I fold the card, that little flap will just stick out just a little bit. And I'm actually going to make another circle that is a 5. My goodness, can't type today. 5 by 5. And I'm actually going to glue this directly on top of that one. That way, it just gives it a little bit more stability. And then it'll be attached to that card. And so you'll see when it opens and closes, it'll be a nice little flap there. So that's just an extra step that I like to do for this, just since that little corner is going to be sticking off. Now we want this to be the same color as our cardstock, so we will not attach those. We'll leave it off like that. And if at any time you want to change the colors of your cardstock, you can do it there. I'm going to make the card first, and then I'll figure out what color, play around with the colors and see what color I like best for this. So right now this fits the card perfectly, but actually I think we want to do a little bit of a border first. So let's drop that down to 4.75. And so that way we'll have just a little bit of a border when we print it. If you don't want the border, you could keep it at 5. which also means we need to make this one the 4.75. Again, this circle here is just to give this is going to be printed on printer paper, so it's going to be kind of flimsy. So this is just going to be a piece of cardstock that's going to go right behind this one just to give it a little bit more stability. If you're doing a different shape that doesn't do this weird hangover like this, then you don't need that one. You can glue it directly to the front of your card, but just since it hangs over a little bit here with past that bend line, that's why I did this one. So now we need to make some more circles. So we want to do one. This one is a 5, so let's make this one a 4. And then we'll do another circle, and we'll make this one a 3. These are going to be our cardstock borders that show through just a little bit. Now we want this image, so we want to duplicate that. And we'll duplicate it one more time. We'll need a total of 3 here. So we need to slice out some of this image to create a stained glass effect. So to do that, we'll need another circle. So this next circle is a 4-inch. So let's make this one just slightly smaller. Let's go 3.75. And I'm going to change the color just so it's easier to tell which one we're working with. We'll take one of our images and the circle, select both, and go to align and center them. Now that they're like that, we will slice it out. So now we don't need this orange circle, and we don't need this outside piece. We just have the center, and that will go nicely over this one. Oops, align, center, so it'll kind of look like that. Which then, we'll bring both of those to the front. I think it's that one. Didn't line that one up, but you can kind of see how it's looking here. So now we need to do this one. So this is a 3-inch square, so let's go to circle. And we'll make it, let's do a 2.75, so it's slightly smaller. And again, we'll select both that. Oh, we'll change it orange so it's easier for you to see. Okay, and then we'll select our image and the orange circle, center, and we will slice that out. We can delete the orange circle and this border here. Now this one will go over here. We'll arrange to the front so we can see it. Then we'll bring this one over to the front. So it's kind of what a code will look like, and then this one will sit again behind that one for stability. And then you can go in here and change the colors. Say maybe you want like a light gray or a blue, maybe even the pink. But you can go in here and change the colors and see how you like it. Not quite sure what color I'll do yet, but that just gives you an idea. You can even select all of these and center them, and then we'll just, so there you go, that way they're a little bit straighter. See how it looks? And so again, we just needed the code base, a small photo, that's the 2.75, a circle, that's 3, another image, this one is the 3.75, so it goes underneath the 4, and then the next image, which is that 4.75, so it fits behind a 5-inch code, and then this other 4.75 just for stability because I'm doing it as a circle. And then we will hit make it. Also wanted to show you how to take a square image and turn it into a circular stained glass. So this one, we don't need to remove the background like we did with that other one. It'll be fine like this. So we'll just apply it. We want the image, upload, and we can click on it and add to canvas. So we would need a circle this time. Let's see, change this to, I guess our image was a 4.75 last time. This is the smaller side, so actually we'll change that one to the 4.75 since it's not a complete square. And then our circle needs to be that 4.75, because if you remember, that's what size we made that image. So we will select both and align center. So that's kind of what it'll be cutting out. So let's see what that looks like with that slice tool. So we have a circle, and then there's our image. So that's how you would make it, and then you would go in and do your circles. So we needed one circle that was 4, and then we did another one that was a 3, and then we duplicated this photo twice. So that's the 4.75. We needed one that was a 3.75 and one that is 2.75. And then we can select everything and center. And then you would also need to create the code as well. 5, 5. Looks pretty good. Align, vertical, and weld. And then we'd also need to create the score line, as well as just an extra circle for this piece here for that support. And that's how you would do it for a square. So I just hit make it, and you should see a screen like this. These are the registration marks, and it just tells your machine where your paper is and where your items are, how to cut them. So we don't want to mess with any of that. That looks good. Now for our circle pages here, we have the code and then the little circles that we need to cut out. It does take it to this next page, which we can easily fit that circle in here. So I'm going to go to page 3, click the 3 dots, and say move object, and we'll just move it to that second mat there. We don't need to waste a third mat. Now it'll just place it randomly, as you can see, so we just need to move it over. Now as you can see here, it's going to touch that one. We don't want that. You could put it right there, and that looks good there. We could even squeeze it down here at the bottom. I might do that so I get a nice little square going that way. Or you go right there's kind of good too, so you get all of that. I might put it there. So you can move it around how you like. You can even move these guys around too if you want. So we could move him up just back where he was. There we go. So I think that looks good. And then there's nothing on this mat, so we don't need to do anything with that. So let's hit continue. And it'll connect to my machine here. If you haven't calibrated before, make sure you do so. So we will just want to hit send to printer. And we do want to add the bleed. What this does is it makes the color go out just a little bit further past the actual line. So if the Cricut cuts just a little inward or outward, you won't tell, you won't see that white. It'll look like it cut on it. So it just kind of bleeds that color to give it a little bit more of a leeway. And everything else looks good. If your printing settings might be a little bit different than mine, and that's okay. If you have the choice, always do the most print quality at the highest that it can be. So I just got my paper off of the printer, and the material is copy paper. So I'm going to select copy paper. It's actually laser paper, but I have a laser printer. You could do the 20 as well. They would both be fine. Select what you have. I'm just going to do default. Usually I like doing more pressure, but this is such a thin paper, I'm going to leave it at that. So I'm going to put this on my mat and make sure you put it in the upper left-hand corner. Otherwise, your cuts will be off because that's where your Cricut knows it should be. Let's jump over to our machine and load our mat. Now that our paper is cut out, we just need to cut out the cardstock. I like to do this medium cardstock with more pressure. You could go to edit tool and pick the stylus if you want. I have the scoring wheel. I think it makes a little bit of a deeper impression, which is what I like. But a lot of people like the scoring stylus just so they can put it in the slot A where the markers go and they don't have to remove their fine point blade and switch things out. But I don't mind doing that, so I'm going to do my scoring wheel, but it's up to you, and that's how you would change it if you would want to. So now let's go hit go and cut our cardstock. So I have put my paper in the upper left hand corner of my Cricut mat. Normally I would do a light blue light grip mat, but this green one is not very sticky, so it's kind of the same as my light blue one right now. So that's why I went ahead and did it on here. So then we will just hit the load button. A light will come on and you'll see that. It's going to test the tool, make sure we have the correct one, and make sure we have enough material on the mat. And then it'll come around and read these little black dash lines to the registration lines. Can see the lights on, and it's reading those lines. And those just where your image should be. we could unload our mat. Always flip your mat upside down so you don't bend and core the edges of your pieces. So there's all of our pieces. So we'll do the same thing. Alright, let's go make the card. So I went ahead and printed and cut out both designs here. I decided to go with this nice tan for this one and a purple with that one. I think it looks nice. I actually used double-sided, so cardstock here, so I could do the light purple as well, but I think I'm kind of liking that dark one better. And this one, the other side, is gray, which gray could also look good. And I almost went with gray. It's between gray, this tan, and a blue. So, could make them really different, just kind of depending on the colors you pick. So, have fun with that. That's always a hood put, picking your colors. But I think I'm gonna go with these here. Since the printed paper is really thin, I like to just do some double-sided tape and tape it down. And then for the cardstock pieces, I like to use some double-sided foam tape. I think this one came from Michael's, and it is a 2mm thick. And the nice thing with this stuff, well, this one here is on a roll, so I'm gonna use scissors and just cut pieces of it. Not too specific, but if you don't think it's thick enough, you can just bend it, and now it's double as thick. So just depending how much you want it to lift up off of your next layer. So pretty straightforward on assembly. You just glue your picture onto the cardstock tape, and then you just keep building up from there. Try to center these ones as much as possible. If you wanted to, just line up your pieces, try to follow where the ones end and place them accordingly to line up with your photo. And I usually do it in the center of my purple square first, and then do the cardstock next. So you'll see that. If you wanted to, you could have made another circle that was the size of this, and then turned it into a score line, and then you would have known where to line that up. If you don't line it up exactly where that is, then you will have some of that score line showing. So I think it's easy enough just to do it like that. So let's get to it.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell of a view. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late.
We could have made this square circle here the same as this, and then you wouldn't have had that bending there. It's kind of up to you. I thought it would be easier to place it by doing it this way, but next time I think I might make it, instead of making it the same size as a picture, I think I might make it the same as my card, which was at 5. Just so you didn't have that. But that's how that hinge works and looks.
I'm so late, you sip wine, I drink straight. Don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase. So catch me if I fall. night's gonna last. You got it all on tap, I'm loving your vibe, always have your back. We like all the same tracks, listen all night in the sheets all black. Said I'm falling fast, don't remember life before you, that's fact. I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait. A first time, a first date, you're so fine, I'm so late. You sip wine, I drink straight, don't waste time to my place. I feel my heart erase, so catch me if I fall.
So there's both of our cards. I did 2 different styles just to show you what they would look like. So for the cat one, we just kept shrinking the image down, whereas with the skull, we actually just we cut the sections out. So the picture stayed the same size, we just cut smaller sections of the photo. So you can do whichever style you like better. You'll have to let me know which style you like. I personally, I think I kind of like the picture that keeps getting cut smaller versus it's zooming in kind of, but they're completely up to you. I've also done square ones, so if you want to see how the square ones look, I will link that down below. Again, this design here came from Spark, which is Creative Fabrica's AI generated picture. And then this one you can purchase on Creative Fabrica. This one I'll link in my library since it was an AI generated one I did. This one, it can be purchased from Creative Fabrica, so I will link that specific one down below. I'll also link just some other stained glass pictures you might enjoy from Creative Fabrica down below. If you're not into the Halloween, you can take the same concepts and make them into Christmas or any holiday you would like. You could even do it with a photo as well. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I look forward to crafting with you next week. Before you leave though, don't forget to head down below and give me a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does help my channel. Thanks, happy crafting. See you next week.